Again, this is really interesting. I really like your take on Hitler not being a Catholic, and you bring up the inferior as well as his idea of superior human being. My
This is a
understanding
very
of this
interesting
comes from
comment
Friedrich
you
Nietzsche
left.
and
There's
his
a missing
philosophy
link
on
file,
nihilism.
as you can see.
If you look at
And
Mein
we
Kampf,
uncover more
it's
as
a
time goes
combination
on.
of socialism
I'm not going
and
to debate
nihilism.
on that, though.
Friedrich
It's
Nietzsche
been done
did
to
talk
death.
about
The
something
something
from nothing
that
is what I'm
others
intrigued
in the
by.
sense of
It's
being
not okay to say
enlightened
life
by
began as
enlightenment
complex molecules
that came
started
with
to
a
clump
curse
together to
staring
create
into
life.
the abyss.
This
Friedrich
to you
knew
is irrational.
how his
Yes.
philosophy
Well,
was going
then,
to be
what
used
made
by
the
the supernatural
Nazi
gods
Party, he would
and
have
the
been
like.
ashamed.
This
and
seems like
hated
circular
that it had been
reasoning
used
to me.
in this way.
I do not wish
There's
any will
another interesting
ill
element
towards
to
you.
this concept.
I do,
As
however,
someone
agree
said
that
the goal of our
beliefs are
society
false
should not be
promises waiting to
communism,
happen,
like
like fascism,
fascism,
as Dawkins
and
would like,
the like,
to
but
see
rather
all
we should
religion on
strive
the
towards
shelf
an
someday.
anti-Darwinian
Probably not in
society.
my lifetime.
This would be
I don't
opposite
think
Hitler's
any
proposal,
anti-theist
in
was
that
trying to
the
force
weakest links
theists to
could
do it
survive
this,
and
the
flourish
only
as well as
thing
the rest of us do.
is
The
anti-theists
concept is
are trying to
actually
convince
in the
theists
process
of
of
doubt.
happening,
And
and
I would
something
go
that
as
our
far
Western
to say
civilizations can
some
actually
of the
achieve,
practices
coined
of
by a
theists
prominent
fall in
speaker
the lines
in
of
the
what seem to be
anti-theist
delusions.
community. Some, not
No,
all.
about
No, I would say I am nihilistic-ish.
every
and that
rational
I do believe in at least entertaining the idea
they might
exists,
be wrong. Now back
and
to
that
Mr.
I do
Dawkins.
not
Yes,
believe
I've seen
in the
him
existence
lose
of any
his
God
temper.
whatsoever.
He's
But
not like
I think
Anton
I understand
Samuel
when
Nietzsche
or
was
Marilyn
saying,
Manson.
when
On
you
Twitter
kill
comments,
God,
I
you
follow
realize
him.
everything
I've
is
seen
just
no
no
such
such
comments.
The walls
And
are
since his
cracked,
stroke,
the road is
he's
long,
really kind
and
of
the world becomes
backed out
a
of the
cold,
stage
dark,
left, unfeeling place with many things that we take for granted. I find the correlation between this and what you said to be very interesting. As a gnostic atheist, it's not wise to be certain, but I feel pretty certain there is no God. Welcome back, everyone. And welcome, theists, people who believe in God, particularly the Christians. So, this is about Friedrich Nietzsche's philosophy, and I only have her for a little bit, so I'm going to get onto this bit. See, this is my cat. She's cute, isn't she? She's inferior to me. I'm superior to her, both in knowledge, strength. I'm in a species that's at the top of the food chain. She competed, her species did. They didn't do so well. And I could kill her. I could kill her with weapons, but I don't need them. I don't need a gun. I don't even need so much as a butter knife. All I need, I could do it with my bare hands. All I have to do is just hit her once. I could even throw her. She's very sleepy right now. I could even use one hand and grab her by the head and twist. But I don't do that. Even though she's inferior to me, I still recognize that she is a sentient being and that she wants to live. And in fact, I even love and care for her. She's a beautiful creature and a beautiful animal that exists. And I like taking care of her. So just because she is inferior to me doesn't mean that she has to be destroyed. It doesn't mean that I don't love and care and respect her. This is in regards to theists using nihilism to say that ultimately being anti-theistic, causes that warp of morality. And you end up with people like Hitler. To quote Sex Gang Children, we all created Hitler as though we couldn't see. We stood by and let that happen. Well, the people in that time frame did. And if Friedrich Nietzsche was alive, or was to know that his philosophy would have been used for such atrocities, he would have been ashamed. Because the thing is that evolution is constantly in flux. It's constantly moving forward. But that doesn't mean that, and to be quite clear, being Jewish, homosexual, any of those things, anything like that, it doesn't mean that they're genetically inferior at all, as Hitler thought. Genetically inferior, and so the idea is that in human evolution, hopefully, we are going to get smarter and smarter and smarter. Maybe we can breed out some of this hair that we have. I think we're all in agreement that certain body hairs have got to go. And so maybe that'll happen one day, but that's something that'll take a long period of time to do. A very long period of time. And it won't happen in our lifetime. The conversation of macroevolution versus microevolution. I am making this in reference to a particular comment that was left in a very particular video. And I mean this person no ill. Yes, I am an anti-theist. I would love to see the day, I won't be alive to see the day, that all religion is put on the shelf of fiction. Not because you were made to by force, but because we have collectively decided and understood that it is irrational to believe in something to that which you have no evidence of. And let me be very clear on religion. The very definition of a belief when it comes to religion is you think it's there without any evidence to suggest that it is there. That is the definition of belief. You have to have faith to believe in God. Because if you do not, then you have no reason to believe God exists. The problem with theism versus anti-theism is that there is no logical reason to jump to a conclusion to believe that God exists. It seems to be, I eat, sleep, poop, pee, fuck, just like animals do. Why am I any different? Well, what are we made of? We're made out of biological components. Your bones are nothing more than calcium deposits. Basically, just a correlation, or not correlation, like a mixture of different pieces of matter that happen to be self-aware. Why does it have to be any more complicated than that? And thus you say, something cannot come from nothing, so there must be a God. Okay, something cannot come from nothing. What created God? And then I was given this really strange explanation of what I would describe as time. This time really doesn't exist. We only have units of measurement to measure one moment from the next. Seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months. These are all units of measurement concocted by mankind. They don't actually exist. Time is a continuum. It has no beginning, it has no end. Whether humans are around to perceive it or not. Whether any entity is around to perceive it or not. I think life is just a roll of the dice, an inevitability that it was bound to happen eventually, that the right circumstances would come together and then hence create it. And it doesn't mean that we're the only planet, because the cosmos is vast. Doesn't mean to say that we are the only species, the only living organisms in the entire universe. We don't know that. And I can't say definitively yes or no. Because all you need is the right conditions, like Earth, to create life. That's all you need. And they probably haven't figured out time travel or space travel either. It doesn't look like it's possible to get from one galaxy to another galaxy in a timely fashion that would make it worth anyone's time. So, for those who have not seen the comment, I'm sure this is a very, very weird video. But I would dare to say that I think that we should reach for an anti-Darwinian society where even our weak are capable of surviving on a level of which even a normal person can survive on. Get to a point where we can fix malfunctions like birth defects. If we can get to that point, and we're close to that, we are closer to achieving an anti-Darwinian society than a idealistic communistic society, which has been tried over and over and over again and has never succeeded, because idealism genuinely doesn't work. Saying I want an anti-Darwinian society isn't saying we're going to create a perfect society. It just means that we can create a society where the weakest link, even the weakest link, can survive. And that is indicative of being so high up on the food chain that even our weakest link has an enormous amount of survival, of capability of survival. And we're closer to that than you think. So, the idea of the fascist, of Hitler's, particularly Hitler's, to weed out the genetically inferior, well, no, that's the wrong route. And I think if Friedrich Nietzsche, the philosopher of nihilism himself, was alive, to hear the utterance of let's create an anti-Darwinian society, I think if he was alive today, he'd say, I think that's a pretty good idea. But I think more or less what Friedrich Nietzsche was referring to was there's those who understand that everything is just as it seems, that the world is broken, that life really has no meaning. And there's those that cling to this idea of immortality, of a life beyond this existence. And you know, we can speak of heaven and hell, but honestly, even heaven in a life eternal sounds like hell. I can't imagine living for an eternity, and no one can. Eternity is beyond our mind's grasp. The best way that you can really try to get somebody to think about what eternity is, that's enough time to do everything there is in the entire universe. Know everything there is to know in the entire universe, and still have the rest of eternity to do nothing. It's enough time to watch the creation of the solar systems create themselves, implode, explode, and recreate themselves, and watch this particular set of timeline of events take place 50,000 times over. and still have the rest of eternity to do nothing. Eternity, if life is eternal, that's enough time to get so addicted to heroin, and it doesn't matter because you live eternal. You're not going to die from it. To be addicted to heroin for 2,000 centuries and then and then get so tired of heroin and being addicted to it that you want to go through the withdrawals just for fun, and you could do that for 2,000 more centuries and still have the rest of eternity to do nothing. Eternity is enough time that you could spend centuries having sex, as many sexual partners as you possibly want. You live eternal. There's no point in making babies. It's just simply for pleasure because it's fucking fun. You could have sex for centuries. Unadulterated, X-rated, whatever you want. You live eternal. And still, after so many centuries of doing it, become bored with it and have the rest of eternity to sit and do nothing. Yes, my cat is inferior to me, and I am superior to her, and I could kill her with one hand, but instead I opt to protect her because I care about her and I love her. And just because you're a theist, and I'm an anti-theist, a nihilist, means I disagree with your philosophy. And I think it's kind of a form of delusion, yes, but that doesn't mean that I wish you harm. And the person who came up with the idea of an anti-Darwinian society, which means not aborting kids with Down syndrome, was actually Richard Dawkins. That's the anti-theist that came up with the concept of an anti-Darwinian society. Veritas in Lestrade means truth enlightenment. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Try not to be hateful, theists, because it does say in your rule book, thou shalt not bear graven images. So try not to be too nasty, theists. You can if you want. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell button on any channel you're subscribed to. And if you are a theist and you watch this all the way through, thank you for hearing me out. Thank you. And trust me, I've sat through a lot of theists' videos. And even a lot of church sermons that I've had to really try to sit through without snoring. Without falling asleep. Oh, I love you, Mama Smokey. You're so cute. But with that, I'm out.